You are listening to Boom Radio NG. Good music lives here.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. It is Thursday, if my calculation is correct. And it is actually a very interesting day. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. There's a lot of sports that we're definitely going to be getting around. Labour Party seems to be having fresh or new, is it new fresh crisis or fresh new crisis? I don't know what we're going to be told. I don't know how we're explaining, but there definitely going to be a lot of explanation towards that. However, there's a lot of updates from President Tinubu's meeting with in China, so that we would also get to talk about in depth as well. So really sit back and relax, as we're going to be talking about a lot of things. There are even a lot of updates from the things that have happened yesterday. Some, updates is what you call it. Different things that have changed. Let's just put it like that. But we'll get around to it. So sit back, relax, like I said, and we enjoy today's show. My name is Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome again to the bar. And with me here is Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's always a pleasure to be at the bar. Let's go.
Okay, so let's get right into today's gist, as we're going to be starting with, since from our headlines, we're starting with sports. It is the bar. Anyhow, anyway, we start. Now, what's it called now? The nominees for the Ballon d'Or, the 2024 Ballon d'Or, is out. It's out. And there are 30 names. So I'm guessing that is the 30, the best 30 players in the world. And there's some interesting things that, have popped up off that list. A lot of talking points, especially the men's list. There are a lot of talking points that have come off that list. Number one, first things first. And I remember us talking about this thing a few years ago. I'm not sure it was you, but I think I've spoken about it with you before. And a couple of others, that the time when there will be Ballon d'Or nominations and we will not have a Messi or a Ronaldo in it. And I think the time is finally upon us.
Yeah, it's taken over 2 decades for that to happen.
This is since 2003. Wow. Oh, wow. That is such an amazing thing. Like, that means that their career actually spanned that long. Is they actually
still
stayed
spanning.
Still spanning. Like, they still stayed that relevant that long. Oh my God. That is some impressive numbers, actually.
Yeah, arguably 2 of the greatest athletes in the last 3 decades, 2 of which they were at the peak of, trading off each other, pushing each other and all of that. When I used to play my video game a couple of years ago, there was a team that I was managing that actually ended up buying both of them to play in that team. Like, I was hoping that this would eventually happen somehow, but of course, none of these rich people saw this vision that I had.
Which kind of money? Not like they don't have the money. It's just that financial fair play will finish people.
What financial fair? Do you know how much that team will make from merchandising alone? Do you know how much?
Will they make money?
Even other teams would. Yeah. So there was nothing like financial fair play.
There is not.
It's not going to affect them. They would have to sell a few players to balance their books and everything.
It's going to
financial fair play is that you don't overspend and that you spend within a limit, but
exactly.
Back to the real story though, they won't now, because they'll be making the money back. They don't want people to depend on non-football sources and all of that. Basically, trying to make sure that clubs are healthy, more or less. You know, they don't want you to overdo it. So, but back to the real scope, which is the Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or has gone through phases from when it was a standalone award to when it became the FIFA Ballon d'Or. Then both of them went for a divorce and it was successful. Then FIFA went back to FIFA Best and Ballon d'Or stood on its own again. And through it all, it never lost its glamour. It's funny how it's not an award by any of the big institutions. It's by a particular organization that started it and they have maintained it at the highest level. Everybody has tried to copy them, but they just keep going and keep going strong. I'm very happy that these two are not there. They were not supposed to be there last year.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi had no business on the Ballon d'Or shortlist, the final shortlist. Could have made the first 30.
No,
but not the final shortlist.
First 30. Don't.
It wasn't even supposed. But they now gave it to him for what?
World Cup.
There were other players in my book who did way better than him.
World Cup.
E.g., Erling Haaland.
World Cup.
You know, but it's all good in
and
the
Haaland did not even play World Cup because Norway. Who are the people in Norway say, okay, it's only him and other guys that like they are the only two players that we know
don't
that
worry.
play.
Let them come and stop him now. You know, but the beauty of it is that it's a paradigm shift. It's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one.
Yeah, it is.
We don't know how it's gonna pan out.
This time it's.
But whatever happens, these guys gave us value for money.
Oh yeah,
and we're talking about them as if they've retired. They're still playing.
They're still playing. They definitely
are
still playing.
That's the most shocking part of it. And again, I know Ronaldo is getting or got an award recently for
UEFA,
the
UEFA
Champions League being the highest goal scorer and all of those things add to what these guys brought to the table.
And
it's beautiful. But if you now end that, just take a look at the list. It's also very interesting.
I think that why we also cannot overlook them is that I think for a large till maybe we see another set of whiz kids like Ronaldo and Messi, they put a huge serious benchmark. They've raised the bar really, really high.
Yeah, because it's rare to have two top performing footballers within the same era. It is usually one player. It's usually just one guy. You know, it was Pelé. After Pelé, there was Maradona. You understand? That it was usually just one player that would run the rule on everybody and be on top for close to a decade or thereabouts, you get. But in between the Maradonas and the Messis, there were a couple of names that came up. Zlatan, this one, that one. Everybody just, what's his name? George Weah. All of them just came boom, boom, boom. Like, but you see, these ones, they had staying power.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And largely because they started early also. And they are very, very good.
Good at what they do. That you can.
Messi, Ronaldo, fantastic players.
And talking now, let's go back to the ones that have now been nominated. First things first, another interesting talking point from that is that there's only one African player on that team.
Yeah. A certain guy that plays for Atalanta, I can't remember his name again, Ademola or something, Oh, yeah, that one. My guy. I'm so happy for Ademola Lookman. A guy who has been consistently putting in the work.
Yeah.
And, it didn't work here. He goes somewhere else and starts to put in the work again. Who would have thought that playing for Atalanta would have him get to the Ballon d'Or shortlist?
Yeah, but I was also talking
playing for the Super Eagles also. He had a very, very,
very good run at the AFCON as well. Do you understand? I know that last night I was literally having a conversation with someone about this list. I'm like, that we all know that it probably won't make the last short list. And I said, do you know what it means to be one of the 30 best players in the world?
Yeah.
The thousands of players that play right now, and you should be chosen.
The last Ballon d'Or, Victor Osimhen made it to number 8 in the world.
Yes.
And that's massive. And Ademola has made it now, the only African player. And a lot of people have been doing the computations and their marks and the computations, like I said, and they're saying, oh, African Footballer of the Year, isn't it? Because if he's the only one that's made it to the Ballon d'Or short list,
Who else do you want to give?
Which other African player? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
And
see.
I'm struggling to remember who they're going
Who
to call
else
this
is
time.
there?
Or they want to
Really?
call that Ivorian guy that scored against Nigeria in the final. That one. What else did he achieve?
You are just mean. Anyway, so that is one of the talking points. Another interesting part is that this list seems to be a lot. There's a lot with basically Spanish players. There's a lot of Spanish players on this list as well.
If you take a look at the bulk of the European championships and things that happened in the world, Spain actually dominated. And not only the Spain dominated,
in the past 1 year,
Spanish-based teams also had the upper hand over a lot of teams. Quickly take a look at the Super Cup, European Super Cup. You know, Atalanta, and
there were actually two Spanish teams.
Atalanta is it's Italian, I think.
Italian.
But the other team that won,
it's
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, yeah.
And who won the Champions League? Real Madrid. You know, so if you take a look at that, then you look at what they've done even at the global stage, you know, and even at the European level too. Spain has been dominating in the last
a lot.
Yeah, a couple
they
of
have
years.
been. So I wanted to reel out these names, but I wanted to say before we move on from it, who did you think should not be on this list? So we have Jude Bellingham, Ruben Diaz, Phil Foden, Federico Valverde, Emiliano Martinez, Cole Palmer, Ellen Haaland, Ademola Lookman, Nico Williams, Granit Xhaka. Oh, really? Hassan Dobi, Toni Kroos, Vinicius Junior, Dani Olmo, Florian Wirtz, Martin Odegaard, Matt Hummels, Rodri, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Vitinha, Dani Carvajal, Lamine Yamal, Bukayo Saka, Hakan, Calhanoglu, yeah. William Saliba, Kylian Mbappe, Lautaro Martinez, Antonio Rodriguez, and Alejandro Grimaldo. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, I think that's the least, more or less. Although there's a lot of buzz or complaints now.
That's where I think
about
I'm going to.
There's a certain player that when this list dropped last night, he just took to his social media and pasted images of him lifting this trophy and that trophy, all within the same
Who's
period.
the person?
Rodrigo.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I saw tweets like that.
And you know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, don't worry, you're gonna be all right." Because honestly, there are a couple of names here that
Like really,
Rodrigo won. He won.
but that's what I'm
trophies
saying.
and
Like,
stuff.
funny enough,
Yeah.
I think I looked through this, but maybe I did. As I was now reading it, I'm like, okay, you too. Like, it just hits me like, oh, you are here.
Yeah, so I think that they should have allowed Rodrigo.
But I think that, honestly, whether we like it or not, all this list, more often than not, there will always be a bit of controversy.
No, you can
here
never
and
have
there.
a perfect list.
There will always be controversy.
There can never be a perfect list. Never.
So basically, I think that it's not a bad list at all, really and truly. I really am personally happy for someone like Ademola Lookman. It was just a very fantastic. He definitely had a very fantastic season, and going forward, I really hope that it continues in that one. Now, before we leave the football, the Premier League, the nominations for the month of August is out. They have Player of the Month, Manager of the Month, Save of the Month, and Save of the Month. So let's start from that. Manager of the Month, the nominees are Pep Guardiola with 3 wins and 3 games, 3 wins. And a slot with 3 games and 3 wins. Fabian Hosler with with 2 wins and I think 1 draw, and Mikel Arteta with 2 wins and 1 draw.
I would go with the Liverpool manager and a slot.
Yes, I think so too.
I think being a new coach coming into a team that he inherited, didn't get to buy players
A
per
lot of
se,
players, yes, I
and
agree.
still was able to pull off results. And defeating Man United at Old Trafford is massive.
Compared
know,
to,
if
they
you look
probably
at-
had more than the most difficult
If
game
you look at the fixtures
this
that
August,
they had
yeah.
as against City's fixtures, did City play Chelsea or something, have you?
Yeah, City played Chelsea the
but
first game.
more or less, it's just
The
like,
first game, actually,
you get-
they
so-
did. They
so,
actually did.
but the way I say it, I will give it to Arne Slot. It's a good way to welcome him to England before the real welcome to England starts.
Why do everybody keep saying that?
There's always a welcome. Welcome to the Premier League. Happens.
I
to
think
the-
I saw it
to the best
like,
of them.
that he's not in the Premier League yet. They've not welcomed him
No, he
yet.
hasn't
I'm
been
like,
welcomed.
oh my God. Why are you people into this? Anyway, I actually think that, yes, City has had a lot of goals this first month. That you cannot take away. But I think that, like you had said, one criteria why I would give the Liverpool coach is mainly because the game with United, and especially when they play those kind of games, form is out of place. Someone that is obviously has not.
It's a derby of sorts
Yes.
between Liverpool and Man United.
Is never really played against them, and he got all the points, and it was just not a 1-0 win.
You should have seen his post-match analysis. He broke down the Man United team, position for position, style for style, and talked about what was wrong with
them.
with United, and that's how Liverpool were able to streamroll them, and they beat them fair and square.
Yeah, so I think that on that one, I would definitely not. I don't think there's anything else to say about that. Now, moving on to nominees for Player of the Month. We have Erling Haaland. We have. We have Erling Haaland. We have Brentford's Brian Mbeumo. We have Aston Villa's Amadou Onana. Chelsea's Cole Palmer. Arsenal's David Raya. Arsenal's Bukayo Saka. Liverpool's Mohamed Salah. And we have Danny Welbeck.
For me, it's between Erling Haaland and Mo Salah. I've seen a different Mo Salah. Like, every season, Mo Salah will score. And he will play the top games and he will deliver consistently. He's done it since he joined Liverpool. But for me, I think Haaland has the edge because of those crazy goals. Like, the guy is almost robotic in nature. It's like, goal, goal, So I would give it to the striker. I would give it to Erling Haaland.
The funny thing is that after seeing everybody's stats, honestly, I think Haaland, and Salah. However, it's interesting that you would see a goalkeeper in this mix.
Yeah.
It's a very weird one, but especially when you see his
Who is the goalkeeper again?
David Raya.
Oh, Raya. Raya's had a good season so
He's
far.
had a good month.
Clean sheets, all of that.
There's only been one goal
conceded.
The saves, if we now talk about it, the saves of the month, there's 6 nominations, and he has 2 nominations of those 6.
Yeah, he deserves it. But congratulations to him, for being counted amongst outfield players. It's a rare occasion.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. It is. So basically, a lot of people. Cole Palmer has had one goal, but he's had 4 assists. Bukayo Saka has had 2 goals, but he's had 3 assists. These people have actually done. They've actually had a lot of people, and I think that we is beginning to look like we're going to have another very, very competitive season.
Bring it on
with the Premier League, because everybody seems to be doing so much at this point. But it's good. Wolves, we definitely.
You skipped Haaland's own stats.
Oh, okay. Oh, Haaland has played 3 games and has scored 7 goals.
Yeah, that's very unfair.
Oh, no. It's okay. Don't let me put it out. It's about is Haaland.
Yeah, but it's
It's
unfair still.
Haaland. But it's if it's about goals and all that, it is fantastic. It has actually been fantastic. Like I said, a lot of them. Mohamed Salah, I think he has had 2 goals and I think 3 assists, which to me is a lot because it means that you're just not scoring goals, you're also creating a lot of chances. So I would rather take even a player that scores goals and creates chances for others as well. So
Give me Haaland with 7 goals. keep your chances.
Keep your chances. The chances he will create, he will rather score it. Abi? Okay.
As long as they are creating for him and he's scoring, it's okay.
It's all right. All right, let's move on. Let's move on quickly from that. Sadly, the under 20 Falconets now. The Falconets, Nigeria's Falconets lost their second game at the under 20 Women's World Cup to Germany. They lost 3-1, but they have one more game against Venezuela. They had won their first game against South Korea. However, Germany in that group has now they won 2 games. They won their game against Venezuela, and now they won their game against Nigeria. So they're moving on automatically to the quarterfinals with 1 game left. But it's not all doom and gloom for Nigeria. All they need to do now is to defeat Venezuela, and they're moving on to the quarterfinals.
I actually don't know what happened between South Korea's game versus Venezuela. So they might be a threat. I don't know if they also defeated Venezuela,
that's very true,
or Venezuela defeated them.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, they just need to win.
Just win.
And having defeated South Korea and gave Germany a run for their money, I'm particularly impressed with the style of play of the team. Very young girls coming through the ranks this time, and this is showing how the future will be. And I have a feeling that if we continue like this, we'll meet Germany again. And it won't be this easy for them.
It will not be this easy. Alrighty. Okay. So I think we should move on from sports now and talk, because there are quite a lot of very interesting things that I want to talk about.
All right, let's go.
I just want you like I'm electro, but I'm kind of wondering. So we have a lot of gist there, but this first gist I want to talk about is Labour Party.
All right.
Now, let me start from the beginning. Governor Alex Otti, the only Labour Party governor, convened a NEC meeting, which is supposed to be like, is supposed to come up with a caretaker committee chairman, because they do not have, remember that there is no Congress, because the INEC had said that the Congress they had was illegal, and the National Working Committee and the executive have their tenure had expired, which I think makes sense. Let's make. However, I think a lot of people were sidelined. But in that meeting, I think he had a lot of key players. He had the presidential candidate, vice presidential candidate there. There are a lot of governorship candidates from a lot of states as well were also there. There were a lot of their key players, and at that point they had appointed former Minister Nenadi Usman as the caretaker committee chairman, the Uwo Kocha, former Senate minority whip, as the secretary. Basically, they're saying that this caretaker committee is supposed to help reconcile and rearrange things so that they can get ready for 2027, which makes sense. Yeah, quickly get your house in order, because time is really going and moving forward now. And it was really cool. That was the news that we had, only for there to be press conference. It's like press conference, what's it called, to convene a press conference very fast, in like 24 hours, kaboom, you're there. Anyway, now the Labour Party, would I say retired, or because their tenure have expired now, so it's retired committee led by Julius Abure. Now, this is no shade to anybody. I'm just saying this as it is. Now decided to set up a press conference and then basically threatened Governor Otti and every other person there that they had violated the laws of the party and that it had to be the chairman of the party and the secretary that has to convene a NEC meeting. Now my question is, in the real sense of it, does Labour Party have a chairman and the secretary?
In the real sense of it, saying that they had a botched Congress, the Congress was supposed to legitimize the extension of Abure's tenure as the party chairman. And of course, it didn't go according to plan. Now, there's a lot of controversy surrounding that. So the party exco is more or less, standing on one toe, not even one leg now. However, it's the same thing that applies to Governor Alex Otti. Where is the legitimacy in him, or where's the mandate, or where did the power to conduct a NEC meeting come from?
Okay, that was Desha.
You are you're the only governor the party has. So if you look at it, you're a leader or an elder in that party. There's the presidential candidate who, arguably should be the de facto leader of the party, but he will not be the leader because there will be someone who is duly elected. But that person will definitely, defer to him. And of course, Peter Obi seems to have a good relationship and rapport with Abure. During their initial crisis, where there was the Apapa faction and the Abure faction, Peter Obi obviously aligned with Abure.
Yeah. So
And that also, just Obi's image and presence alone, more or less gave a lot of credence to Abure. Forgetting that Abure had been in the party longer than Obi. But Obi is one of the reasons why that party became popular in the first place.
Yeah.
We must be honest with ourselves. Labour had been there now. Chebi Modele tried one time with Labour. So back to the matter. Now, Governor Alex Otti might mean well for his party, but you can't just manufacture power from thin air. You can't just convene a NEC meeting without world congresses. You start from the world, and who has the mandate to do that? So what they are doing to themselves is more or less like an implosion. They are about to factionalize Labour Party.
Oh, obviously.
And if they do this, some parties in the past that have done it have survived it because they have structures, and they're able to call them to order. I don't know if Labour will survive it. As Labour as constituted now, I don't know if they will survive it. Yes, they want to get their house in order. Yes, they want to get ready for 2027. Peter Obi is definitely running again
So
as a
now,
presidential candidate.
who would we?
But where would you get the power from? What Governor Otti has done, what it means is that a senator now, maybe a serving Labour Party senator, can also gather a lot of high-powered Labour Party stakeholders and also conduct the same kind of
So
meeting.
if they don't
So this is a recipe for chaos
so if they
and
don't
disaster.
have chairman, they don't have national working committee. Who is now supposed to convene this meeting?
The only person that can convene is someone that is recognized by the law, and as it stands, they don't have. So what they're supposed to do is to go with even the current person that they are trying to get out, and all of them must sit down at the round table and set up this so-called committee together. And that's the mandate, to organize a proper Congress where there's a level playing field for anybody that's interested in contesting. Of course, they would have prearranged who's going to win, and it's politics now. And maybe it's Abure that now wins officially. Then they move forward, and they can start planning.
So is it looking like as if
But
there's now
what they've
Peter
done,
Obi has moved from Abure's camp now?
it's obvious that that's what he has done for him to attend this meeting that Governor Alex Otti is said to have convened. And of course, that means he has taken a stance. A lot of people had called him out for not being able to, call Abure out or leave Abure for what they fear as is baggage. Now, even legally now, I think they've opened a can of canker worms. If they're not quick to seal it back, this might consume their party or weaken their party. Now, you see some of their House of Rep members, the ones that are still left, and
What's
the
that
Senate.
supposed to mean to have now? Have people moved? Oh, okay, yes, people have moved. Sorry.
this a joke now?
It was a mistake.
The ones that are left, this is a good excuse for them to jump ship now and say, oh, there's crisis in my party. And really, until you look at it, they'll say, oh, yeah, there's crisis in his party. Then he sends a letter to the Speaker of the House or the Senate President.
It's like as if they always have those templates of letters.
So they need to move fast. And I think for the health and survival of the Labour Party, they shouldn't do it without Abure, regardless of if his tenure has expired or not. I think the best way for them to do it is to quickly reconcile
remember
themselves.
that there is also a what's it called now? There's also an Apapa that is fighting that Abure is not teaching.
When last did you hear Apapa's voice? It is rumored that Apapa and Abure are on the same page now.
Oh, really?
It's a rumor. I'm not going to say more than that. When last did you hear Apapa come out to complain about anything? Apapa's PRO guy, that guy talks with a lot of power. And where is he? Have you heard anything? Is it not the best time for them to come out to say, yes, we told you people you didn't? Did you hear his voice?
No.
So it's politics, man. What I heard, is that it looks like Apapa and Abure are on the same page.
Okay, now moving on from that, another interesting controversy that we're going to talk about before we move on to other things is NANS, the National Association of Nigerian Students. So yesterday, a publication was passed around that had said that there was going to be a planned protest in all major cities of the country on September 15th, 2024, and this was asking for the return of the fuel price to what it was 2 days ago, and the removal of Mele Kyari as the NNPC Group CEO. They were informing all security apparatus in the country through an open letter, and that they were promising that the protest will be peaceful and lawful. Which I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense. Everybody, everybody's on the edge right now. It's not out of place if we see those kind of things. However, today we wake up today and then same NANS now says that they're dissociating themselves from the planned protest.
How do you think it's the same NANS?
So, but I said that I don't understand this. I said yesterday.
Yeah.
The story that was read, or the letter that was put out yesterday, because I actually saw that letter signed.
What did the letter? What's the letterhead?
NANS.
What there are other things written on it, but carry on.
I can't remember exactly, but was signed by Okunomo Henry Adewumi, President of the Senate NANS.
Okay.
Today's letter that said that they are not protesting and everybody should disregard whatever it is, and it's not the position of NANS, has NANS signed by NANS Senate President Afeez Akitaye.
Yeah, like you said, the person who signed the letter yesterday is Okunomo Henry Adewumi.
Yeah.
And he's a senator, president of Senate NANS.
Yes.
The person who signed the disclaimer today.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that.
Do not speak the truth.
What is what?
What's the name of the person who signed the letter today?
Afeez Akitaye.
What's the position?
I was here.
What is the
Senate
position?
President. I knew you were going there. That's why I said don't do that. Do not do that.
NANS is heavily factionalized. I'm not going to. Don't worry. I'll just stay within.
So you're going to tell me that there's a difference between Senate President and President of the Senate?
Yes.
I know you so well.
Nigerian students, But that's not what I was going to say. But yes, there is a difference
Okay,
between
yeah,
Senate
right.
President and President of Senate.
Okay.
They are both representing different factions of the student body. Now, the guys who put out the information yesterday, if you look at the picture, there's a backdrop. On that backdrop, they wrote unified factions and something. Even them acknowledging the fact that it is more or less like some kind of group of NANS supporters or students and all of that. And that's why each person that is signing it, has some kind of appellation or title to it and all. So to further understand it, go and look for the last result of the NANS elections and look at the name of the president and wonder who is this person or who is that person. Now, funny enough, this group that signed the letter yesterday, someone made an allegation against one of the people there. He said that he met the person in school, that the person had been in school since the 90s. He graduated, and now he's shocked to see the same person amongst the...
It could be a PhD student. Yes.
30 years a PhD student.
No, it could be undergraduate then, now a PhD student.
For 30 years.
That
PhD, they do NANS.
yeah, he's a student.
PhD, they do NANS.
Yes.
Say it with your full chest.
I don't know. I can't say categorically, but
You went to
why
school
can't they?
to do PhD, and you're doing solidarity forever.
But it's not like they're out of place.
At the level of PhD, you are their lecturer. Solidarity forever.
See,
Situate it in a secondary school. A secondary school teacher is now joining secondary school kids to protest. We know go agree. Mr. Uncle Daddy, what's going on here? What's going on? What exactly is the color of your problem?
so you're not understanding this matter.
Please make me understand.
So, anyway, like I said, it could be a PhD student.
It could be.
Yes.
But it's not. But carry on.
I don't know. We don't know. It's
And
a PhD student. You don't become doctor until you're done.
He is not a PhD student.
How do you know he's not a PhD student?
Don't do that. He's not I know what I know. But I'm asking you,
However,
that based on your analysis, that you'll see a PhD student doing solidarity forever.
why
PhD.
I would not.
Have you seen it before in your entire life?
I've not, because I've never been interested in this dance. However, why it might not be out of place is that it is very obvious that there is one serious money to be made from these associations. Why I said so is, so this picture that is out there of NANS national headquarters, of all factions of NANS. I don't know what that
Now
is.
you've seen the picture, right?
Yes. However,
Do you see the point I was trying to make?
I get your point. Now, what I'm now saying is, when you look at this picture, what I wanted to point out is that the person that had the cap NANS president is the only person that kind of looks like a student. However, because these people's stomachs, these daddies, they look like lecturers.
Exactly. Welcome to my point of view.
They look like.
Please park your car very well.
They look like lecturers. Why I'm now saying so is that there definitely has to be some money that is being made from these things.
It doesn't have to be about money.
Why would there be
these are
factions?
activists.
Factions.
They're just fighting for the soul of the nation.
What do you mean by activists?
They're interested in student welfare.
See, I'm very, very, what's it called?
Very, very.
I'm very, very particular about the vocabulary that I put out. When I tell people that the way everybody used to call this person my friend, I don't call anybody my friend.
You don't even have friends, so
I don't.
Let's even take it from there.
I'm just saying, like
we know.
I'm just saying,
everybody
like, for
knows.
example, a lot of things that we call people that we call friends are acquaintances. So that's where it's the same way a lot of people. What categorizes you as an activist?
When you activate your activism, you are now an activist.
Because you know words that they you really used to be in our vocabulary, or we didn't used to use so much. This
It's
is
because you didn't
every
want,
Tom and Harry, every Tom, Dick and Harry.
You did not
is
reach
now
your
an
dictionary.
activist.
You did not reach your dictionary to
I
that
did.
point.
I did.
You did
But
not.
there was no.
You skipped
there wasn't
the
so
A
much
part
of,
of your dictionary.
However, everybody now is an activist.
But look, let's put the jokes aside. Virtually every student union member is an activist because they're a pressure group and they always would fight for rights, fight for things that are going wrong, speak up for the voiceless and all of that. So I'm not going to take that away from any of them. And again, after all said and done, after establishing that there are factions of none, so maybe that's why you're getting these contrary messages back and forth. I would like to state clearly that what they want to fight for is very valid. And we cannot continue to allow government to tell us lies. You'll be telling us all sorts of. Bottom line is that life is hard. Petrol goes up. Now, I saw an headline, and I have not done any research about it, that transportation has gone up by 50%. Yeah, bold headline. I think it's Daily Trust or one of those papers.
This is now where my 50%. This is where my issue.
Transporters don't care. If you add one kobo, it's going up.
Now.
And there's only one person that suffers it. It's the common man, the person that's going to pay.
The bad part. Like, let's be coming down. This is a fuel that I'm not saying is right, but some of you were even buying it higher than that just a few days ago. And the transport now it's like you've not officially got impetus to increase it as you push be fearing God. Be fearing God. I'm just saying, Sha. Let's just know what we are doing. Anyway, moving on from that, because it's actually very, very. I actually feel very, very concerned about it. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Whatever gains that Nigeria might have made in the last 1 month and a half, it's going to go down the drain. Because of this pump price of fuel. It's
just really horrible. Anyway, the Nigerian Navy has now arrested 6 suspected oil thieves and dismantled illegal refinery sites there. Now, today, the Vice President inaugurated a $150 million operational terminal at the Onne seaport. The customs are now declared a state of emergency at Onne port after they seized major shipment of drugs, according to the DG of customs. They're saying that maybe because it's not a port that everybody goes to, a lot of criminals have now found it easy to think that on a port is where they can send their illicit, they can do their illicit business and easily get away with it.
Well, that's some cherry news saying that the customs have promised to step up, and of course they've been busting these people, especially at that on a port. They've been busting them, arresting a few and all of that. But are they not tracking the owners of these shipments? Like, there's no shipment that just comes from the North Pole. And if it was coming from the North Pole, it wouldn't even be guns and all of these things. Except you won't tell me Father Christmas is a bad guy. And he's not. So who are the people who are shipping these things? They should be able to go to the source also and get them. Beyond who they want to send it to, we're talking about where they're getting it from. Maybe that's a good way to start. So if the Navy is tackling the guys on the sea, the customs are tackling the ones that brought it into the port, maybe it's time for the federal government, the Minister of Exterior, that's External Affairs, and other relevant agencies to look at the sponsors of these things or the importers.
And then it's sorted quickly. Now moving on from that, talking about a few things. Nigeria and China have now decided, part of the things that President Tinubu is doing in China, as where they have now decided to revive the local currency swap. Remember, there was a conversation around that with, I think it started with President Buhari, and I thought it was really going to kick off. Like, it sounded really cool. So for people that do not know what it means that if you want to buy stuff from China, you don't have to change it to dollar before you get yen anymore. That's what they were trying to imply. And if you're in China, you want to buy stuff in Nigeria, you just pay straight and to naira. So it's now naira to yen straight and yen back to naira.
You know, this is cheering news. And I'm hoping and praying that this is real. Do you get, like, this comes to fruition? A lot of goods that find their way into Nigeria are actually from China, which means there's a lot of forex demands. And I still just can't wrap my head around it. Every time I hear these things, I'm like, okay, where's the sense in this? I want to go and buy something in Xi Jinping's country, but I have to go and take Joe Biden's money. You know, I have to change to Joe Biden's country's currency to go to China. It doesn't make any sense. You don't take dollar to the UK. You don't. Even if you have dollars, you still change it to pounds.
Yeah, you have to.
So why can't we use, the yuan? Honestly. And seeing the volume of business that Nigeria does with China, even if it's kind of one-sided at the moment, we need this.
It's still, at least that takes a large chunk
swap
of the dollar. So
and that would take some pressure off the dollar demand.
Exactly. So we'll see where that is going to. In the same vein, Chinese president has now committed $50 billion in financial support and promised increased military cooperation with Nigeria, Nigeria and a few other African countries in the next 3 years. So looks like the Chinese.
Well, America has a few weeks to respond. Isn't it funny how the superpowers, the USA, China, Russia, all have this African summit. Yeah, isn't it funny? Why? Ever asked yourself why?
I don't know. At this point now, it looks like it seems that everybody wants to. Everybody
is it that they are that nice?
Needs allies.
Is it that they just like Africa? Is it that? We'll find out one day.
We'll definitely find out on that one. So moving on from that quickly, the federal government is now starting their consumer credit scheme, and they're starting with about 500,000 civil servants to start with. And I think
so we have 500,000 civil servants.
A lot more than that.
There's problem.
I know that
there's problem.
A lot of people might be wondering. However, they're probably the easiest to track their earnings.
Yeah, again, block pay goes to them. You can reach them because they're already structured. They're on the payment schedule
schemes
of the government and everything.
Basically, they know how to remove their money.
And they're the ones that are in the labor unions. And then they protest pass.
That's all. Leave them. However, if you don't pay, they know how to remove it from a salary quickly.
Yeah, so I like this credit scheme thing. I hope it gets to everybody. I hope it goes beyond just government workers who will benefit from it. It's time we change it back to the way it was. Many years ago, Nigerians didn't have to fork out, millions of naira to buy a car. Even at whatever value the car was then, you didn't have to pay at once. There was something called hire purchase. There was something called hire purchase, and that's like a credit scheme of sorts you get. But guess what? Suddenly things just went mad. From paying monthly rent to paying 1 year, 2 years. There was a time in this country, landlords were charging as much as 4 years rent. They would make people pay 4 years.
4 years.
Thank God.
Is the plan of my life in your hands?
Thank
4
God
years.
That
who says I will not have bills bigger than your house in 4 years?
Thank God that Governor Fashola actually, championed that thing. And I don't know how it spread to the other states.
4 years.
But they used to do that much. 3 years, 4 years rent. The least you could pay at some point was 2 years.
Are you holding my destiny in your hands?
With a lot of begging.
Serious matter.
Leases are different. You can do 10-year, 15, 20-year lease.
No, that
but rent was full 3 years. It was standard practice in different parts of Nigeria. And we can't have that. But with a credit scheme, you can pay your rent in advance and, have the government now or the agency remove it at a convenient sum that does not break your back. You know, so some people are in that mode now. Their kids are going back to school. There's a student loan for tertiary institutions, but there are kids in secondary school and primary school also who would, and it's not free education in some places. But with the credit scheme, you know, you could be able to pay their school fees, and you know, and have them take it back from your salary in bits and pieces. Honestly, I pray that they really get this one right.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on from that, I'm talking about the House of Reps Minority Caucus is demanded for an immediate reversal of petrol price to ease the economic hardship.
It is sacrosanct. It is pertinent. It is every grammar that I can think of, that they reverse that thing back to what it was. Even if it means breaking their subsidy, which I know is hard, they must just find a way, because this is a dangerous place to be. People depend on petrol to move goods from point A to B, and also services. You know,
It's a very very funny.
This government must do something. Go. I keep saying it. It will be nice that we allow chaos. I am not advocating for it, but that is what people would usually resort to when they are at their wit's end, when they don't know any other thing again. They will be like, okay, you can't hear us, we're going to make you hear us. Government, move fast. I beg you.
Okay, moving on from that, quickly before we go, Nigerian police have now confirmed the arrest of a 23-year-old suspect of Ayomide Adeleye. Now, this person is arrested for the gruesome murder of Idowu Christiana. She's said to be a 300-level student of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Funab, before she was alleged to have been abducted around the Ikorodu-Yaba Road in Lagos by the suspect, who's a 200-level student of the Olabisi Onabanjo University. The Lagos State Police, according to the spokesperson, had confirmed the arrest, and they said that it was handed to them by the Nigerian Army. The Nigerian Army had already arrested him earlier before and the interesting part with this person's story is that there's been a lot of allegations. Let me put it as allegations that this person seems to be a serial killer. Now, my question is, how come this conversation is just happening now? Like, do you understand? Like, the talks of him allegedly killing some people in the past.
Yeah, but you know these things. So this is how it always happens. Even this
how
is
come
how
people
it happens.
have a lot of information about this particular person?
I don't know, but I just know that the bottom line is that the so-called serial killers are not caught the first time. That's why they are serial killers, because they do it serially, you know. So, hey, thank God this guy has been arrested, and proper investigations will prove, you know, the level of his guilt and culpability. And, you know, we have laws in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I would plead that they use whatever maximum punishment that it deserves. You have no right to take anybody's life.
So it's very interesting as a lot of people are alleging that as far back as 2020, there was the murder of his biological sister. And also there was death of his ex-girlfriend in 2018.
Murder, you wrote. Man was killing people left, right, and center. And he's just 23.
He's just a 23-year-old. It's very, very sad. Anyway, quickly,
sick.
Very sick human being. Lagos has extended the work from home policy by 3 months.
Do they have choice? When petrol is expensive?
Even if petrol is not expensive, my own is, if the work gets done anyway, there are a lot of resources that do not have to be used, stretch thing. As silly as...
if you think that they want to continue in this your story, they won't say that they are suspending or extending. Do you understand?
I understand now, what you're saying. I'm just saying that even look at it from the angle of as silly as toilet. There are less people that will be using the toilet.
Some people are eating as we speak.
I'm just saying.
What's wrong in you?
I'm just saying.
What's wrong in you?
Those are facilities that the less people use them, the better.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I just know that after this show, some people will rush to wherever it is that you have mentioned.
Anyway, finally, before we go, sad news in Georgia, as a 14-year-old boy has now been caught for killing 4 people in a school shooting.
Yeah. America, you need to do something about your gun.
Something needs to be done. It
control.
can't continue like that.
There's the data about the number of mass shootings in America this year is crazy. You think like, is it a war zone? You know, and I wonder how parents feel every time they drop their kids off in school. Or every time their kids get on a school bus.
It's a very dangerous trend.
It's probably the same way a military wife or military husband will feel when their partners are being shipped off to the war front. It's almost the same feeling that you don't know if that phone call is going to come. Please do something about your gun control rules, America.
It's really, it's honestly really getting worse by the day. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Boom Bar. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Peace.